What is good, people? This is your boy RTL Faith, and we are back for another episode of my Kickback anime discussion video. Now, I have a recurring guest in this video, and I'll let you introduce or reintroduce yourself.
What is good, guys? My name's Jed, as some of you might have already seen me in previous videos on this channel.
And we are going to talk about an interesting topic for you all today. A similar video that I've done in previous Kickback anime discussion videos, but I feel like this is very fun to make and a lot of good discussion can come out of it. So we're doing another type of video. So I'll let you kick it off what we're talking about today.
So, today's video is going to be about each or both of our top 5 or top 10 favorite characters from My Hero Academia.
Exactly. The famous anime that is still considered by a lot of people a very good anime, very good shonen, and some diehard fans try to acclaim it as better than Naruto, One Piece, even Black Clover, and whatnot. I completely disagree to all three of those, but My Hero Academia is good, and one of its strong points is definitely its characters, and especially like the supporting cast. I feel like are all interesting, intricate, and are unique in their own universe. So, we're going to start off with our number 10 selection. I'll let you start it off.
Oh, me, okay. So, my number 10 favorite character is Momo Yaoyorozu. She's within class 1A. And my main reason for liking her, I don't know. She is one of those characters. I want to start off. I like her quirk a lot. I've always told everyone that if I had a quirk in real life, hers would be undoubtedly the one that I would have. Actually, if I was in the universe, I'd probably take her quirk over many other ones. I think the reason I like her character more is mainly with her quirk, and then I like her personality a little bit. Even though she doesn't get much of a spotlight, every time she's on there, she always just tends to make me laugh. Even though it's probably not meant to be funny, but she's always very enjoyable to watch for me. What about you?
I agree to that. I love Momo's character. I think she is just to make something clear, we're not pedophiles out here. Momo is technically a high schooler, but is an anime, and she's presented like she's an adult. So I think she's the best female waifu, whatever you want to call her, character in the story itself. Not trying to be creeper. So all you guys out there, don't be creepy out there. But she's a great character. She's a great female character for My Hero Academia. I like her more than what's her name? Uraka? Uraka?
Yep.
Yeah, I like her more than her. The Uraka is supposed to be the love interest for Deku, and then Momo seemed to be the love interest for Todoroki. But she's a good character all in herself. Her quirk is amazing, and I just enjoy her entire dynamic. I heard a good like viewpoint of her saying that she's one of those type of characters that she's trying to prove herself despite being in a distinguished family, so she's still trying to prove that she lives up to that like name brand, and it's very similar to like Noelle situation, but just not as deep. So I mean, like Momo, good character. Like her pick. Momo didn't make my top 10, but I would say she's like honorable mentions for sure. Honorable mentions for sure. Uh, but my 10 selection for all of us today, I went a similar route to you. You like Momo's quirk a lot, and I like this guy's quirk a lot. That's why he hit my top 10. His personality is not the greatest because he doesn't really do anything, but this is Kaminari. Kaminari is, again, doesn't do anything, but I like his quirk. I like the characters in anime that have like electrical or lightning based abilities. Like Naruto, we got Sasuke, and Sasuke is not like one of my favorite characters, but I like his abilities. Hunter x Hunter, Killua, Kaminari, he has that ability. He doesn't know how to use it properly, but it's still a cool ability, and hopefully he gets better in the manga. I'm hoping at the very least.
hoping eventually Kaminari would get like some kind of Godspeed type of usage with this quirk. I feel like that'd be fun. But my number 9 is gonna be Stain. The reason I like Stain is because when he came in, he kind of changed up the whole, the whole scene of My Hero. Before, it was very lighthearted. The villains weren't like, they were just like, I'm just gonna take over the world and all that. But when Stain came in, he had a reason, and he actually made me look into. He made people think about. I don't know. He made people think about what a good villain is. I still think, even to now, Stain is one of the more likable characters. Not for like what he's done, but for what he's doing. For his reasons for doing what he is, for his reasoning for the path that he's on right now, about how heroes should be people who aren't in it for money, who aren't in it for fame, but just doing it to save other people. His vision of a hero is similar to how people like Spider-Man and Superman are heroes for. So I think that's why I have Stain as my number 9. What about you?
Yeah, Stain is an absolutely fantastic character. I'm not going to tell you where I have on my list, but I definitely have him on my list. And Stain is a great character. A lot of things you just said, what he did for the My Hero Academia universe and how he kind of changed the style and changed like the pace of the story. The entire League of Villains was kind of like inspired. Well, a lot of the members, barring Shigaraki, of course, were kind of inspired by Stain. And Stain is very similar to how Pain was to Naruto. Stain was similar to that to Deku, Midoriya. And like there's a lot of similarities, and Pain is a great character as well, and it ended with Pain kind of helping / saving Naruto, Stain helping / saving Midoriya. Great character. When I want to talk, I'll talk about him more later, but yeah, great character. Love Stain. But yeah, my number 9 selection is... Oh, I forgot to write his actual name, but I think his hero name. What's that guy's name? That is Mirio's friend? What's his name?
Tamaki Amajiki?
Tamaki. And isn't his name like Sunrise or something? With the sun? Something like
Sun
that.
Eater.
Sun Eater. So yeah, I don't know why I forgot to put his name there, but he is my number 9 spot. Tamaki, Sun Eater. I just like, although there's very little of him, the little of what I saw about him makes a very interesting character. He's a person who has a pretty powerful quirk, but he's very shy, timid, and that type of personality is common, especially like you have everything you need to be great, but you just don't have the personality. And once it starts coming out, he has some great moments, some badass moments, and once he starts breaking out of his shell, he can really become a true hero. I like the entire dynamic, and I liked how his character developed the few episodes I saw of him in season 4.
I really like Tamaki. I'd say he's probably like top 15. I just want to see a little bit more of him. But at number 8, someone that's already been mentioned today, and it's going to be Kaminari. The reason I like Kaminari, like you said, I really like his electrical powers. I've always had a draw towards people with electrical powers. I think that's why I like Loxus. I think that's why I like Killua. I think that's why I like Static Shock, and Kaminari is no different. And also, just he's always fun. Every time he's on screen, he always makes me laugh. And you just know every time he's on screen, you're just going to have a good time. So I think that's why Kaminari is at my number 8. And during the UA Sports Festival, it was kind of funny because Kaminari is always treated as the joke character. But even Tokoyami, one of the strongest students in the class, recognized how strong Kaminari would be, saying that he was the most dangerous person within Todoroki's group, and that's include Todoroki, Ida, and Momo. So I think that was a pretty cool moment for Kaminari, just showing how strong he could be, how much potential he has. So Kaminari is at my number 8. What about your number 8?
Yeah, a lot of things you already said for Kaminari. A lot of good things. I don't really have to rehash it. And he's probably, I mean, I would say he would be the fourth strongest in the Class 1A if he learned how to master his own quirk. But um, my number 8 is, after really thinking about it, I actually really like this character. I don't have a very good reason, but my number 8 is Toga. Um, I'll be honest. When it comes to real life, I'm not a fan of crazy chicks at all. They're like in real life, they're not appealing. They're very annoying, and they can be very dangerous. However, in anime, they're just so much more appealing. And Toga is that example of an appealing, crazy chick character. I always like it when she's on screen, and her entire thing with Midoriya was very entertaining. I'm sure she has some great moments in the manga, and I'm sure, I mean, there's a lot of, fanboys over her. I'm not a fanboy of her. I just like her, and I think she's an interesting character every time she's on screen. She's just very entertaining for the most part.
Yeah, I like Toga too. I'd say she's in my top 15 as well. I don't know. Toga's very enjoyable whenever she's on screen. Her whole dynamic with Deku is really entertaining. But at number 7, I have Mr. Aizawa, aka Eraserhead. The main reason I like Aizawa, mainly just from him kind of being, you know, unintentionally funny. You know, he doesn't do everything. The funny moments that he has aren't meant to be funny, like him sleeping in a bag. In his eyes, that's not being funny, but to me, it was kind of funny. But the main reason I would say I like Aizawa is from My Hero Vigilantes, which is a side manga which takes place before the actual Hero Academia. I'm not going to spoil it, but I
I
just want to let you
mean,
know that Aizawa's a really good character there.
I guarantee I'm not gonna read this manga, and we'll just put it right here. Hey, he's gonna talk about a manga real quick. I mean, I'll let you go ahead. If you want to run by Aizawa, I'm all for it. I like him as well.
So Aizawa and Vigilantes, he's, you know, it doesn't start off as, you know, want to be a teacher. He wants to, him, President Mike, and Shirakuma, which kind of plays a part why he's a teacher at UA. They all wanted to, you know, they all wanted to be heroes, of course, but they wanted to open their own hero agency. They didn't want to be like Psychers. They wanted to open their own hero agency. That all changed when the death of Shirakuma arrived. He actually comes up within the main series of My Hero, which here where he comes up at, I don't want to spoil it. It's kind of shocking when it happened.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
think I know what you're talking about. Like I know what you're talking about, even though I don't know the name. I couldn't don't know the name. I've seen pictures of three characters, Aizawa, the Mike dude, and another character, so I know I can put a face to the name you're talking about. And I don't know the spoiler, but I can guess what it is from spoiler thumbnails and spoiler titles and all that stuff. But yeah, go
okay.
on.
But yeah, so, you know, when Shirakuma died, President Mike took in a cat. And I don't know. I don't want to take too long. Just basically, Aizawa was a really good character with him. I Game of Vigilantes, and he is a cat person, which I've started turning into.
Hey, I can always empathize with that. I like dogs and cats. What person am I primarily? That's a good question. Cats are easy to manage, but they are also very selfish, and dogs are very playful. I don't know. There's
Mhm.
benefits for the both of them, to be honest. But yeah, Aizawa was a great character. Yeah, I mean, he's a fantastic character. I'll name my number 7 right now, which will be very controversial, and a lot of you are gonna be pissed at me that I don't have him higher, which is fine. I don't care. Number 7 is All Might. Um,
Ooh.
yeah, so All Might probably should be higher, but he's just not. I don't like him more than the 6 characters above him. And I mean, there's so many great things to say about All Might. He kind of runs the show. Midoriya may be the protagonist, but All Might runs the show. And he's enthusiastic, he's charismatic, he's a great mentor. Like you can go on, and I'm sure you have him higher on your list, so we'll just save the discussion for All Might for that. Right? Am I guessing right? You have him higher in your list?
You are correct.
Okay, so we'll save the All Might discussion for that, which is perfect because my number 6 is actually Aizawa, and that I just want to talk about Aizawa more anyway because I love his character. Aizawa, I like him more than All Might mainly because he's a little bit more. I think he's a better mentor for one. I mean, he's personally teaching these students how to better their quirks instead of it being a symbol, which is okay. He's personally learning about these kids, learning about how the quirks work, and trying to do whatever it takes to make them better. In addition to him being a pretty badass himself, where his quirk is pretty useful, but it's only useful because Aizawa has it. Very similar to like a Mirio situation, he made use of the quirk. Because even though it can stop a person's quirk for a set amount of time and everything, there's strain on Aizawa. And if Aizawa wasn't so physically like gifted and physically strong and acrobatic and such a good fighter, then the quirk wouldn't be as good as it is. And that's because Aizawa is the boss. So, I mean, Aizawa's a boss. Really, really nothing else to say beyond that. So, anything extra to talk about regarding Aizawa, or do you want to move on to your number 6?
Yeah, I was trying to get what you said about him being a great leader. I really like that about Aizawa. And it just reminds me of the type of teacher I kind of want to be. Probably not as gloomy as him, but I just want to be able to help people as much as they can. But for my number 6, you've already mentioned him, is Mirio. Mirio, I really like his character. I really like how him and Deku play both of, two sides of the same coin. I just like how Mirio is someone that's taken his quirk, which honestly, if you really think about it, if he didn't have it, it'd be completely garbage. If you gave it to someone like Kaminari, they wouldn't be able to use it. I just like how much of a workhorse Mirio is. This man basically, if you saw in one of the episodes, he kicked Eri, but he threw her, and then in that little, probably less than 5 inches of space between Eri and Chronostasis, he was able to turn his quirk right back, or turn it off, and then kick him. So I just really like Mirio's worth ethic, so that's why he's at number 6. And he's a very, very entertaining character. He always brings a smile on screen, and he just makes any scene that he's in better. So that's my number 6.
Yeah, so I'll be honest. I have Mirio on my list as well. And I have an entire rant regarding Mirio, so I'm going to save it for later. And we're just going to move on to number 5. Because I have a lot to say about Mirio. I was planning to do a Mirio video, but I decided against it. Just cause. But, I can talk about Mirio. But let's move on to our top 5 here today. And my number 5 is our Explodey boy, the better version of Sasuke, Bakugo. Bakugo, I mean, I didn't really like Bakugo in the beginning, but after the entire Bakugo retrieval arc, I liked him so much more because he didn't turn out to be a Sasuke. And, I understand why... I don't understand why he's so aggressive towards Deku especially, but I can understand, what he's trying to do. He wants to be number 1 hero as well. He has a lot of confidence in his abilities, and when he fails, he takes it very, very hard. And it makes sense. People who are prodigies like Bakugo And especially when they are not given everything and they kind of make themselves who they are. If they fail, they take it very, very hard and blame themselves. And that's what Bakugo does. Like, if he doesn't end up number one, or if he's not able to prove that he's number one, he takes it hard. I.e., the entire thing with Todoroki. I.e., Deku being like All Might's number one like apprentice or whatever. I.e., the situation with All Might. Like, Bakugo is a great character, and he's like very aggressive. You know, I mean, I don't sympathize with that, but for what he is, and his quirk is very, very dope. Yeah, I really enjoy Bakugo, and he's definitely grown on me over the past like season or two.
Okay. So, for my number 5 pick, it is going to be Kirishima. I've always liked Kirishima. He was probably in the lower eights, but ever since this recent season, especially with him going Unbreakable, I really liked him, especially with his backstory, how, he's always wanted to be, the person that, he's not flashy. Everyone else has flashy quirks. He's just the guy that can make his skin harden. And then he was able to, instead of having any tricks with it, he just, just screw it. I'm just going to get harder and just absolutely bully people. And I don't know, it's just Kirishima, whenever he's on screen, he's always made me smile. He's always a character that I would a little like 5-episode arc about. He's every character in my top 5 that isn't a main character I would want to see an arc of, or everyone in this top 10. So yeah, Kirishima, main reason he's number 5 is his backstory from season 4. So what is your number 5?
I mean, I already said my number 5, but I do want to talk about Kirishima a little bit because, in my opinion, like, he didn't make my top 10. But if I had to be honest, if there is one character in My Hero Academia that I want to be my best friend, it would be Kirishima. Hands down, it would be Kirishima. He's so positive, and he's such, like, he'll do anything for his friend. He's probably the friendliest guy out of, like, all the people in his own class. Like, his backstory was great, and he reminds me of characters such as, like, some good examples? He reminds me of characters such as Kiba in Naruto, or Chad in Bleach, or even Magna in Black Clover. Like, they're characters that are inherently not that strong, and they know they're weak. But with Kirishima, his recognition of his weakness kind of plays out, makes him a better character. And that, like you said, his backstory and him being a very positive person and trying to overcome that weakness. And he has the potential to. We'll see if he does. But yeah, can you kind of see like the comparisons I just made?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Kirishima is a great character. Like Momo, very close. He was also in the honorable mentions, but just didn't crack it. Because although the trope is interesting, I feel like it's not that interesting in my personal opinion. And eventually after this arc, he's probably going to get shafted by everybody else. Probably. But yeah, we'll move on to our top 4. So, top 4. Now, for my 4th character, and from from looking at your Abby or your profile pic, I think you know who I'm talking about. And I'll be surprised if he's not one of your top picks. This guy, great, fantastic character, and honestly, I might like want to put him over my number 3, but for now I'll keep it. But I might change it at the end. At like really looking at it, great character. It is Todoroki, the other rival of Midoriya. Todoroki, fantastic character. Some people hate him. I mean, I don't know why. Like, I feel like there's not that, like, if you hate the overpowered character trope, I guess you can hate him. But he's written very well. Like, he's backstory is understandable. He hates his dad. He loves his mother. He wants to become the number one hero. Um, he didn't want to use the quirk from his father, who he hated, but now he does, and he tries to use all his power. Like I think he was developed well. Great character, very very dope ability. Probably the strongest, excluding the OP-ness of All for One and One for All. But Todoroki, fantastic character. I'm sure you have him higher, right?
Oh yeah, I have him higher.
Oh yeah, I can tell from your profile pic. So I'll let you save your Todoroki rant for a little bit later. So what's your number 4?
So my number 4, you might disagree with it, but it's gonna be Deku. We talked about him in a previous video. If you guys haven't checked it out, make sure you guys go check it out. You guys be really entertained by it. But all I gotta say for Deku is that I see myself within him a lot. My number 1 and number 3 are probably the characters I see myself in a little bit more, but I probably see myself in Deku a lot just because I'm one of those people that wants to accomplish great things, but is a little too shy. I'm very, very shy in public, as you guys can probably already tell. But Deku, he's always entertaining for me. I always enjoy him whenever he's on screen. I think he's a good main character for the series that he is in. And yeah, I just find Deku very likable. He's always nice to everyone, even Bakugo whenever he's mean. But what also boosts up Deku is that, he's the nice guy, but when it gets serious, he kicks into another gear. And that's the one thing I really like about Deku. He's not nice all the time. Whenever he needs to get to it, he'll be the person that you'd hate to see. He's one of those people that you hate to make angry, but you'd love to have as a best friend. So that's Deku 4 for me.
Okay. I mean, I understand Deku being a top selection, and although, I have my gripes with Deku as a character, I do admit that he's a good protagonist, especially for his own anime. I have no, of course I don't like him whining, but, there's whining characters I do appreciate, such as, the main character of Katekyo Hitman Reborn. I think the problem with Deku is inherently not his character for me. It's just the fan base that overrate him so freaking much, calling him better than Luffy, calling him better than Naruto. I don't see it. I just don't see it. There's nothing he's done. I've yet to see it. But Deku, he's a good character, good protagonist, and I can't wait to see that actual super badass moment, not an overpowered moment. What moment I want to see from Deku personally is the moment where he either snaps or the moment where he says, being nice is not going to work. To the point where he might actually kill this guy. I want to see that, this nice version of Deku, I feel cannot last in a world that they live in with people One For All living in the world, and people I don't feel like Shigaraki's as bad, but Overhaul was pretty bad. I don't know the bad, the ending of that fight, but I want to see that snap from Deku, that transformation from the nice guy to someone who realizes the world is not all fun and games. Once I see that, I probably will like Deku more. And I haven't read the manga, so I don't know if it's happened in the manga yet. Has a moment like that happened for Deku yet?
Not entirely. The moment you say he snaps, it has happened, but he's not completely changed, or he's still the same person, but he's a little bit more experienced after that.
Okay, there are situations in life, in a lot of these long-run shonen, where the protagonist will have to face a moment that, if it doesn't change them, makes them realize that the world is not as nice as you thought it was. And there's a lot of good examples for that. For example, in One Piece, I forget are you caught up with One Piece, or at the anime at the very least?
A little bit.
Well, what are you in you said you're in the Dressrosa arc or Whole Cake Island?
I'm around Whole Cake.
Okay, good. So the like for example, when Luffy, when his brother died, when Ace died, that was such a game changing transformation for Luffy, and made him think that he can't just force his way through. Um, well, I'm trying to think of another example. Naruto with the entire Sasuke situation, I think that was huge for Naruto's character when he lost the Sasuke and he wasn't able to bring Sasuke back. Trying to think of a Bleach situation. I think there's one there. Maybe stopping Aizen, or actually before stopping Aizen, when he wasn't able to beat Aizen and then he had to train and all that stuff. So I want a moment like that for Deku, and once that moment happens, I think he's going to be a better character. And I probably actually will actually put him in my top 10. Maybe. We'll see. Hopefully. Um,
All right.
but until that happens, he's cool. I don't have any gripes with him. But we're hit from 10 to 4. So let's hit for top 3. Big 3. All right. So, big 3. Now, like I said, my number 4 and number 3 are very close, and they're actually pretty interchangeable. And I could put Todoroki number 3, and I could put this guy number 4. I think it would have been fine. But my number 3 is Shigaraki, and I don't know why I like Shigaraki really. I mean, I kind of know. I like Shigaraki because he is a very good contrast to Deku, and I just obviously I haven't read the mangas, but I have kind of a knowledge of how his backstory goes, and being the leader of the League of Villains and not liking the hero world, and he's growing as a villain leader and he's developing as a villain leader as well, especially with his confrontation with Overhaul. I feel like there's some very good development for Shigaraki's character, especially since at this point he doesn't have the most overpowered quirk, but he's still confident and like smart and intelligent in how he's doing things. He was reckless before Stain, but he's growing much more confident. And I saw, like, I haven't watched the recent episodes, but I saw a scene with Shigaraki, Dabi, and the Top Hat guy, and that was a pretty cool scene. Don't know what happened, but I feel like Shigaraki is just becoming a better and better character.
Yeah, I'm really liking Shigaraki, especially you aren't caught up with the manga, but there's an arc in the manga where Shigaraki where he basically takes the main character role and he just becomes such a more likable character, and I think you're gonna really like that when it comes up. But you said number 3. My number 3 is actually someone you've mentioned a little bit earlier before, and it's gonna be All Might. Why do I like All Might? Well, he does exactly what he says. He always wants to put a smile on someone's face. And that's what he does. As you know, he's always putting a smile on his face. But the reason I like All Might so much is that if you really think about season 1, he was the main character, and we were reviewing the story from Deku's point of view. So you can kind of say season 1 was like a second point view. Everything within season 1 was surrounding All Might. Everything with Deku was surrounding All Might. Everything with the villains was surrounding All Might. All Might was the centerpiece and main character of season 1. And I think that's why I like him so much. And also, he just has some of the best moments. Whether you watch in a sub or dub, every time he's in a fight, my favorite fights in the series are actually Noma versus All Might. And then one of my favorite moments in the series is when he did the United States of Smash, and then every time he finishes a fight, I just jump up and I just get very excited. So All Might, basically, all in all, he's just someone that I just get really hyped to see on screen, someone that can change my mood and someone that always put a smile on my face. So that is my number 3.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. I don't blame anyone who has All Might top 3 or even number 1. He inherently deserves it. Like, All Might is great, and that type of positivity, although inherently, a character who's just outright positive all the time, I don't feel like is the best character trope. But with All Might, it just works. It works fantastically. his overwhelming positivity and how he is the symbol of peace in his own world, and how he just keeps on pushing himself forward. I mean, you can't hate this guy. If you hate All Might's character, you hate good things in worlds. So I can't say any bad thing about All Might. Like, great all around character. Um, but yeah, for sure, love All Might. All right, so top two. I'll let you go with your number two first. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So my number two actually has to do with his quirk, and he has two quirks. So my number two is gonna be Todoroki. Why do I like Todoroki so much? Well, he's another character, as you know, I've already said it. He's another character that I enjoy seeing on screen, especially when he has his moments of, I can't really think of the word, but he's very unaware, especially after the Stain fight. You know, he was like, every time I'm in a situation, someone's hand gets messed up, and Deku and Ida start laughing. He was just completely unaware. And also, I just really like his quirk. I like how overpowered but balanced it is. Like him having two elements, but they work in conjunction with each other. You can't have one without the other. He wouldn't be as powerful without both of them working in tandem. And then I haven't said this about many of the characters on here, but I just really like his design. His half and half is absolutely fantastic. And as you said, on my Abby, you know, him and Death the Kid are very similar. Death the Kid's probably actually my favorite character within Soul Eater.
Oh,
But
hands down. Death the Kid is amazing.
but I just really think a reason I have that as my Abby is just I just really want to think about what if they did meet. He would just freak out about Todoroki because he looks like a messed up chimera, and just has, you know, his eyes aren't the same. Half his hair is just mixed up. He has a scar on one half of his face. I like, you know, Todoroki reminds me a lot of Death Kid, and his design, his overpowerness, and his backstory. So that's basically why I like Todoroki summed up. So what do you have at your number two?
Right. So my number two is something we mentioned before, and a little, like, I mean, I agree with the Todoroki being number two. I mean, Todoroki was number four, so it wasn't that far. Like, Todoroki, obviously, I mean, Todoroki interchangeable could be a number three very easily. I think Todoroki is a character we all should appreciate. The half and half thing, the interesting character design. He's very similar to, in my opinion, he reminds me a lot about Yuno, but Yuno I like much more because Yuno has he's much more motivated, comes from a very smaller background, and I mean, and there's just things about Yuno I just like more than Todoroki, but Todoroki, I mean, he's just a badass character in his own series, and you gotta like the badass characters. Let's be real. Um, Death the Kid is another level. He's one of my 25 favorite characters in anime. Period. I love Death the Kid. But my number two is a character we mentioned earlier, and I think you had him pretty low on your list actually, and this is Stain. Um, I think we mentioned a lot of things regarding Stain before, but like you said, he drove the story. He drove ever since like season 2, I think, on. Like, the ideals of Stain resonate in almost every portion of MHA. I don't know how long that's gonna last in the manga, but it's like resonating even now. Like, the fact that Stain, someone with such a strong ideology, was able to affect everybody involved. Even Endeavor couldn't do anything to this guy. Like, this dude was a straight out beast. And that type of ideology, you know, people make comparisons to Batman, and people go with, like, you know, he's probably the most important character at this point, like, regarding like the effect on the story and the plot. It reminds me a lot about Pain, like a lot of things we already said. Stain, fantastic fantastic character. Hands down. Alright. We got our big uno, big one, big deal. So, I'll let you start. What is your number one favorite character in My Hero Academia? I think I know who it may be, but go for it.
So, my favorite character within My Hero Academia, I just want to say everything I've said about every other character, it applies to this character, but it is going to be Akatsuki Bakugo. Bakugo, a lot of people probably aren't surprised because this is probably the number one favorite character within the whole series for a lot of people. Bakugo, every time he's on screen, he makes me laugh, especially people find him all the time annoying. I find it hilarious how he just spazzes out about everything. And of course, he'd be a terrible person to be with, sitting next to. But he's just so funny whenever he's on screen. Even it might not even be intentional. He's a very driven character. As a former athlete, I don't know. I see my competitive drive with Bakugo. He just every someone up he's going up against, it doesn't matter who it is. He doesn't back down. He's never scared. He always goes 100%, and he's also a character that people show. He shows a lot of respect for. When he was going up against Uraka within the first round of the tournament within season 2, even though everyone knew that his quirk was superior to hers, he all in all was a superior character, he still saw her as a threat. He still saw her as he still took her as serious as if he was fighting Todoroki, and I think that's very respectful. He doesn't look after going to UK or UA, he doesn't look down upon any character. It doesn't matter who you are, how weak you are, he's going to go at you at 100%. He respects everyone that he basically goes up against. While his attitude doesn't, show for it, whenever you're fighting up against him, just prepare. He's not going to hold back. And also his quirk, it's so fun. I just really like it. Explosions. Who doesn't like a good explosion? The only thing I want to ask about his quirk is that the only thing that makes his quirk better is that every time he uses an explosion, he just turns around because, cool guys don't look at explosions. So basically, to sum all that up, Bakugo, he's just encompasses everything that I like about characters. Being very entertaining, very good backstory, very good reason for why they, for the way that they are. And he's just a very enjoyable character. That's all I gotta say. I'm sorry. He's just a very enjoyable character to me. I see myself a little bit in him. So that is my number one. Who is your number one?
Well, before we get into my number one, Bakugo, I knew you were going to say Bakugo, but I don't blame you for saying Bakugo. He's in my top 5, and he's a great character. I compared him to a better version of Sasuke, but if I had to give him a proper comparison, he's basically Vegeta. He's literally basically Vegeta's character. And I wouldn't say done worse or done better. It's hard to do better than Vegeta. Let's be honest. Vegeta carries Dragon Ball Z. Screw Goku. But Bakugo is a great character, as you said. His drive, his motivation, the wanting to be the best. The only two things, things I want to say about him is, one thing, thinking about his character, really think about it, I feel like a strong possibility, if there is going to be a major death in the series, obviously All Might will die one of these days. I feel like it's guaranteed that All Might's going to die sooner or later. All Might's going to die. If he hasn't died already in the manga, he's going to die eventually. And I feel like another character that may die in the series is Bakugo. And I can, see that, All Might dying, huge impact on Deku. Bakugo dying, again, another huge impact on Deku. And I feel like there can't be two rivals. There can't be another number 2. Deku is going to be the number 1 hero, right? At the end of the series. We all know this.
Yeah.
There can't be two rivals of Deku because someone has to be number two. And I feel like the only rightful person that can be is Todoroki. And I feel like Bakugo is going to die in the series. And I feel like it's going to be a situation where Bakugo eventually recognizes Deku as a legitimate, like, someone to respect. Eventually Bakugo is going to have a development thing. And then after that development thing, he's going to die. And I feel like it makes so much sense for his character to go down that route. And I feel like it would make sense. What do you have to say to that type of idea? I'm probably never going to do a video on it because I'm not a huge MHA like fan, or nor do I read the manga. But what do you think about that possibility of Bakugo dying in the future?
I can see it. I can see where you're coming from. You know, well, I don't think it might be like possible. I do see it. I see where you're coming from. But my idea, or you know, my dream idea for, or my dream vision for Baku and Deku is that, we get Deku at number one, but we get a little bit more in that with them always wanting to one up each other, it always every time they update the polls, they always switch around. So like Deku would be number one the first time, Bakugo will end up taking him, and they just keep flipping back and forth. And I think if they end up doing, a continuation from when like Deku becomes number one, because pretty sure they're going to end the series when Deku becomes number one. I just hope they, eventually do that where they just keep switching back and forth to show how competitive and how true rivals that they are.
I mean, although I like the idea, I feel like inherently it wouldn't make sense because I think at some point Deku becomes too overpowered as a hero. Because from what you told me about his quirk, he becomes pretty overpowered. And Bakugo only has one quirk. I don't see how he can catch up to Deku. And like Todoroki's the only person because he technically has two quirks. But
Mm.
he would be number two to Deku being hands down number one. And I don't see how Bakugo can compare to even Todoroki once Todoroki masters two quirks. So there's just some misplacement about Bakugo's characters when everything's said and done, I feel like. And his story, when it comes down to it, Bakugo's story is going to end, in my opinion, when he recognizes Deku as his true, like, someone to respect, at the very least. Once that happens, I think his story arc is done. Something will happen to his character after that. But yeah, I mean that's something to think about for a future video. If you do a video on it, or if we discuss it, something definitely to think about. If not, someone hasn't made a theory video about Bakugo dying, someone eventually will. And who knows? Maybe might get bored and post something like that. Unless my boy Jet here decides to do it, then go on it. But my number one favorite character, bar none, it's a recent ranking, and it's because of the last episode I watched, which was probably 2 episodes ago, from My Hero Academia. My hands down favorite character is Mirio. Mirio is the best character in this series. Like, I feel like that's wholesomely true. If I liked MHA more, Mirio would probably be one of my favorite. Like, if I did a top 50, Mirio might even be in there. And that's high praisal for an MHA character. Like, Mirio is such a great character. He's very similar situation with Deku. Maybe Deku will be... I feel like the similar situation, but Deku has an overpowered quirk, and Mirio does the entire thing Deku is supposed to do, but better. Like, he starts as a character who had a very not overpowered quirk. He had probably one of the worst quirks you can have, and he's not able to use it properly, but he's constantly smiling, he's constantly positive, and he strives to achieve a goal wholeheartedly with everything he has. And he goes towards that goal, masters a quirk that nobody thought he could be able to master, becomes the best hero in his own school, becomes the number one in his own school, the rightful successor to All Might's quirk. He was recognized by All Might's sidekick And the entire situation with Overhaul, that other dude, Eri, and him even losing his quirk powers and still giving the hands. Like, come on. That is a true man right there. That is someone he like I don't think people are sometimes I'm like this guy wouldn't really inspire me or motivate me much. There's very few characters I would say that inherently motivate me from their actions, and Mirio is definitely one of them. He everything that MHA's philosophy or ideology is supposed to be is all embodied in Mirio, in my personal opinion. Great character. Love Mirio. Hopefully he gets more shine, but I heard he gets shafted in the manga.
There is some hope for Mirio. I don't know if you care about spoilers, but right now in the manga, they're planning on training Eri, so who knows? He might end up getting his quirk back. So
Yeah, I mean,
who
although I
knows?
didn't watch the recent episodes, I'm pretty like from what I'm aware of Mirio, I knew that the quirk would have been gone, which sucks. But Mirio is so capable, he probably could still be a badass without a quirk. But if he gets his quirk back, I mean, there's so many possibilities you can go with that. He could probably be the number one hero before Deku, and then eventually Deku's gonna be so overpowered that he'd retake it from Mirio. But I don't know. I love Mirio's character. I don't think. I mean, it seems like they're not gonna do anything more with it. Like even if there's like a side story, if there was a filler OVA movie with Mirio as a main character, I'll read it or watch it hands down, no question asked. Like I love Mirio's character, hands down. Um, so anything to say regarding my number one pick?
You basically knocked it out of the park, Mirio. I would. That's all I want to ask is this one more Mirio fight. That's all I want to see. Whether OVA, filler episode, it doesn't matter. As long as it has Mirio as the lead, I'm all for it. I want to see my grown-up Lucas, my intangible 10-10 man again.
Oh yeah, like I mean, even if he doesn't have a quirk, I think he still can give hands to everybody in the class 1A. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see about that. I mean, I heard Deku's 100% Cowling's pretty strong, so I don't think he'd be able to beat him. But yeah, Mirio, R.I.P. Mirio.
All I wanted to see was Mirio versus Bakugo. Just imagine how crazy that fight will be.
I mean, Mirio would still win easily, but Bakugo would
Oh,
get
yeah,
so
but
pissed, it would have been he would have destroyed the entire room.
he just blew up the floor.
Oh yes, like I feel like it was smart not to have Bakugo in that fight because everyone was taking it seriously, but they weren't risking like destruction to win against Mirio. Whereas Bakugo would go all out, risking everybody's well-being and getting so pissed that this guy who's not much older than me is kicking my ass that he would just destroy everything, and that would have been so entertaining to watch.
Oh man, Mirio's great.
Yeah. MHA, another thing I have gripes about is some of its best characters they're just shafting aside. Like Stain, Mirio, like come on. Like these characters were some of your best written characters and they're just not important anymore all of a sudden. Like
I feel like they're gonna be played, or they're gonna play a bigger role later down the future. Because there is rumors of as you know, Stain got locked up, but there is some rumors that Stain might be coming back after a jailbreak arc.
hey, I'm all for Stain coming back. Like that dude was so entertaining to watch. The thing is, I don't know what he would do because he wouldn't attack Deku. So would he team up with Deku? Because he believes Deku is very much like All Might, so he wouldn't fight Deku. So I'm like, what would happen? Would Deku and him team up against someone else? That would be very interesting. I would be all for that. If Stain teamed up with Deku to help, like, do something. That would be very
Sting
entertaining.
I would say Stan could try to, you know, redo his life, try to become a hero, or he might try to steal some of the members of the League of Villains away.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see him becoming a hero because he still has that ideology. Like, he's still, like, if you're
Yeah,
not a proper hero, he's still going to cut you down. But it's basically, like, if you're on Stain's radar, he's very much like, you watch Hunter x Hunter throughout, like, right?
yeah,
He's very much like Hisoka. And, like, he's not truly bad and he's not truly good. He just does things based on what he wants to do.
yeah.
So I can see a Deku Stain team up like we saw a Gon Killua Hisoka team up.
I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that happen. It would be great for MHA if they kind of expand on their best written characters much more. Like some of when you got to take advantage of your best written characters. That's how you kind of stay like a high quality like story. Um, I mean MHA is good, but what makes it good is not inherently its well writtenness, but other factors, which is, I mean, it helps that it's very, very, very Western, in its like depiction of its own society. But if they expand on like the best written characters, like other like shonen have done, I feel like it would do much better quality wise. Like, I personally think Black Clover is better than MHA. Don't know where you fall on that line, but I personally think Black Clover is the better shonen in this era. What would you say to that?
Oh, uh, um, personally for me, I like both Black Clover and My Hero evenly. Uh, I always try to find something that a series does. I always try to look at what a series does the best. So I don't know. There's some things Black Clover does a little bit better, and some things My Hero does a little bit better.
Oh, what is up, Poke Scowl? Um, real quick, I'll introduce you to, but we'll wrap up this video and then I'll introduce you to each other. But again, appreciate you coming on to the video, Jet. Any final thoughts?
Um, Stay safe, everyone. Wear your seatbelts.
Exactly, people. No drinking or driving out there. Be safe. This has been your boy RTL Faith. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.